Avoidant men only get emotionally attached when this happens. When it comes to avoidant men, one of the biggest frustrations people face is their resistance to emotional closeness. You may notice that just when things start to feel deeper, he suddenly pulls away, gets cold, or retreats into silence. It can leave you questioning whether he ever truly cared, whether he's even capable of attachment, or if you've just been wasting your time. But here's the truth. Avoidant men do get emotionally attached. It just doesn't happen in the same way or on the same timeline as everyone else. Their attachment switch only flips when something very specific happens. And understanding this moment is the key to unlocking their heart. Avoidant men live with an inner conflict. On the surface, they crave freedom, independence, and self-reliance. They've often grown up in environments where vulnerability wasn't safe, where needing someone led to rejection, abandonment, or feeling smothered. So they built walls, and those walls serve a purpose: to protect them from ever being hurt again. But here's the paradox. Behind those walls, they want love just as deeply as anyone else. The only difference is they don't trust it easily. So when does an avoidant man finally let down those walls and get emotionally attached? It happens when he realizes that being close to you won't mean losing himself. The first shift happens when he sees that your love doesn't equal pressure. Avoidant men often pull back because closeness feels like control. They're used to partners who chase, who demand constant reassurance, who unknowingly make them feel trapped. But when you embody calm independence, when you show him that you can love him without clinging, something clicks inside him. Suddenly, intimacy doesn't feel like a threat. He realizes he can be close without being swallowed whole. That's when emotional attachment begins to grow, because instead of running from you, he starts running toward you. Another critical moment for avoidant men comes when they feel safe enough to be vulnerable without fear of judgment. Avoidants often carry shame around their emotions. They believe if they reveal too much, they'll be rejected or ridiculed, so they keep everything locked up. But if you respond to his moments of openness with steadiness, without overreacting or using it against him later, you send him a powerful message. Your heart is safe with me. That's when he feels the rarest thing: emotional safety. And once an avoidant feels safe in your presence, he begins to emotionally attach, because you've given him what no one else has: the freedom to be himself without fear. But here's the hidden truth. Avoidant men only get emotionally attached when they respect your boundaries. Yes, respect is the secret ingredient. If you let him walk all over you, if you accept hot and cold behavior without speaking up, he may stay physically present, but he will never be emotionally invested. Why? Because he doesn't feel challenged. Avoidants secretly admire partners who hold their ground, who can say no without anger, who show that they are whole with or without him. That respect makes him lean in. He realizes you're not chasing, you're not desperate, you're choosing him out of strength, not need. That's when emotional attachment begins, because deep down he knows he could lose you if he doesn't step up. Another powerful moment comes when he imagines losing you. Avoidants often act like they don't care, like they're fine on their own. But the truth is, they fear loss deeply. They just hide it under detachment. When you live a full life, when you radiate self-respect, when you show him you could walk away with dignity, he suddenly feels the risk of losing someone extraordinary. And that fear of losing you awakens his attachment. He begins to realize that his walls won't protect him from missing you, and missing you hurts more than closeness ever did. That's when he chooses attachment. Not because you forced it, but because he can't imagine life without you. Avoidant men also attach emotionally when you balance independence with intimacy. If you lean too far into independence, he may feel like you don't need him at all, and avoidants secretly want to be needed in small doses. If you lean too far into closeness, he feels smothered. But when you master the dance, being available yet not chasing, showing love but not overgiving, you create a magnetic balance. He feels secure knowing you won't collapse into him, and he feels valued because you allow him to contribute. That balance builds attachment like nothing else. Another moment that triggers emotional attachment is consistency. Avoidant men expect chaos. They're used to relationships where emotions spiral, where people panic when they pull back. But when you remain calm, consistent, and unshaken by his distance, You defy his expectations. Instead of seeing love as drama, he starts seeing it as stability. That consistency creates trust, and trust is the bridge to attachment. Once an avoidant sees that you don't crumble, don't manipulate, and don't pressure, his walls begin to fall. Here's the part most people miss. Avoidant men don't attach during the highs, during the fireworks, or during the passion-filled moments that so many people chase. No, for avoidance, attachment begins in the quiet, ordinary spaces. It's when he realizes that sitting next to you in silence feels comforting instead of awkward. It's when he notices that laughter with you feels effortless, not forced. It's in the small acts of care, a meal cooked, a thoughtful text, a soft touch, that don't demand anything in return. These are the moments that tell him deep down, I'm safe here. Because for the avoidant, chaos has always disguised itself as love. The drama, the games, the push and pull. It all reinforced his fear that intimacy would cost him his peace. But when you bring him peace instead of pressure, calm instead of chaos, something profound happens. He starts to see love differently, not as a storm to survive, but as shelter from the storm. And in that shift, real attachment begins to grow. But let's get to the ultimate turning point, the paradox that defines avoidant attachment. Avoidant men only get emotionally attached when they know they are free to leave and still choose to stay. That's the moment everything changes. When he realizes you won't beg, you won't chase, and you won't collapse if he pulls away, he feels a sense of freedom he's never known in relationships before. Suddenly, love doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like a choice. And when an avoidant chooses to give his heart freely, without pressure, that attachment runs deeper than most people will ever understand. Because here's the truth. When he chooses you willingly, not reluctantly, it gives the relationship a different kind of strength. He's not there because he's guilted, cornered, or manipulated into staying. He's there because he wants to be. That's when his walls don't just crack, they crumble. That's when his guarded heart finally says, I trust this. So when do avoidant men truly get emotionally attached? It's when they experience a love that honors their independence while still offering safety and closeness. It's when they realize you can walk away at any moment, yet you choose to stay. It's when they begin to see that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's courage. And most of all, it's when they feel that with you, they won't lose themselves. They'll finally discover themselves. That's the moment their soul relaxes and attachment takes root. So if you're dealing with an avoidant man right now, remember this. You don't need to chase him, convince him, or break down his walls brick by brick. That only feeds his fears. Instead, embody what his heart has longed for all along. Security without control, love without chains, presence without demand. When you can offer that, you'll discover something surprising. Avoidant men don't just get emotionally attached, they get attached for life. Because once they've found the rare love that gives them both freedom and safety, they know they'll never find it again.